4 picks today. Thank you, Mullins.
As he goes out, then breaks back in. Nick Mullins does a great job sliding up in the pocket.
Melly makes a good play on that ball. I mean, it was a bad throw, but he undercuts that. He makes the right play.
Had he been able to actually put some heat on that football,
freak-out moment for sure.
He would have had a completion to Justin Jefferson. Instead, it just lags out there, and Melifanu, who's going to be a starter for a long time in this league. Ever since I've watched him.
The Detroit Lions are trying to build on their best season in decades. The Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love are trying to prove that 2023 was not a fluke. The Minnesota Vikings and Chicago Bears are both bringing in new quarterbacks this season and have a lot of reason for optimism. The NFC North is returning all 4 of their coaches, and they are all hungry for a division title. Thank you guys for returning for another video. I am your host, Johnny Gaz. Thank you for coming back to the channel. Today, we're going to do our 2024 NFC North preview. We'll take a look at all 4 NFC North teams, give a projection and outlook for 2024, and I will give my way too early predictions on who will win the NFC North this upcoming season. Let's go. Before we fly north, make sure to hit the like button on the video. Best free way to help out the channel. Hitting the subscription button and that notify bell is the best way you don't miss any future videos. I want to thank you guys so much for the time and the interaction on all of the content here on Johnny Gaz Sports. Talking football, Lions football is a true passion of mine, and you guys make it worthwhile. It's so much fun to interact. Definitely hit me up in the comments. Want to shout out Lions Syndicate here on YouTube. My man Derek over there tells it to you straight. It is a great resource and inspiration to me here at Johnny Gaz Sports. Again, that is Lions Syndicate. Go say hello to my man Derek. We now have a membership option here at Johnny Gaz Sports. If you hit the join button, I will go through all the options that you have to become involved here with the channel. Again, thank you guys so much for your time. Let's dive into today's topic. The Green Bay Packers finished 2023 at 9-8. They were second in the NFC North and were actually one of the wild card teams there in the NFC playoffs. They went into Dallas, into Jerry World, and put on a very impressive performance, really blowing out Dallas in that wild card playoff game. They went on to face San Francisco in California. Unfortunately, did lose to them in the divisional round. But Jordan Love and the Packers in the second half, and especially in the playoffs, really blossomed there. They really turned it on in the second half of the season. They had started off slow, but really picked it up there. And Jordan Love was fantastic as he entered the playoffs. I think he actually finished up with a 108.6 rating, somewhere in there, when all said and done. And the question is, where can Jordan Love truly take Green Bay in 2024? Other factors that come into play is that they're bringing in a new defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley from Boston College. He's coming in, kind of making that transition to the pros, but has spent many seasons as an assistant in the past. They revamped their safety room by bringing in free agent Xavier McKinney, and also ended up drafting 3 different safeties throughout the 2024 NFL draft, really looking to bolster up that secondary. In free agency, they also brought in running back Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders. They'll pair up with A.J. Dillon there and form a pretty substantial duo. We did a video here on Johnny Gaz Sports not too long ago talking about the best running back duo in the NFL, which we will get to shortly, but the Green Bay Packers duo certainly factors into that discussion. The Green Bay Packers are the youngest team in football. I think they were the youngest team to win the wild card and win a playoff game since the NFL-AFL merger, which is pretty incredible. They really have a lot of weapons on offense, specifically at wide receiver. And honestly, it's scary what the potential is for the Green Bay Packers there. Guys like Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, and a recovering Christian Watson from his injury. If Jordan Love lives up to everything he was in 2023 and those guys remain healthy, they will be dangerous on offense. So again, they're very young. They're going to go where Jordan Love takes them, but I think the question there is, will the defense then hold true? They revamped their secondary, and will that be enough to keep up with teams like Minnesota and all the offensive weapons now in Chicago, and we know the offense that they have in Detroit. So will the Green Bay defense be able to keep up in 2024? Now let's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. They finished 7-10 in 2023. That was third in the NFC North, and of course they did miss the playoffs. Lions spent a lot of time battling Minnesota towards the end of the season, and as we led in with that video, ended up clinching in Minnesota. Minnesota did get off to a very slow start, and I think as they started to turn it around, things started to look up. But then, of course, we had the Kirk Cousins season-ending injury, and that really put a damper on the whole situation, especially offensively. It was really a quarterback carousel from that point on. They also had sustained injuries to Justin Jefferson during the season, which hurt them as well. And I think just ultimately the other teams in the division ended up being more talented, considering those injuries factored in. And obviously we have the advantage of hindsight now. We know Kirk Cousins has moved on and signed with Atlanta. So Minnesota moves to drafting J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan. And they also signed Sam Darnold. So the true question with Minnesota is how soon and really when do they move on to J.J. McCarthy? We know that's the ultimate plan, and Sam Darnold is truly going to be a stopgap. But how long does that last for? And does that allow Minnesota to take the next step in 2024? They did make some free agent additions to bolster their pass rush with Jonathan Greenard, and they also brought in running back Aaron Jones, obviously within the division there, coming from Green Bay. They also drafted outside linebacker Dallas Turner out of Alabama, who I like a lot. And Minnesota's defense has really been good the last several seasons. I think they lost a little bit of talent in the secondary, but up front they're very stout, and I think will continue to be so in 2024. But again, what will the quarterback situation be, and how long can Sam Darnold hold down the fort, or does that even hold true as they enter the regular season? Do they have enough talent offensively to make up for the time they're going to spend to cultivate this quarterback? And do they have enough quality on defense still to keep them within striking distance for this division? Now let's move over to the Chicago Bears. They also finished at 7-10 in 2023. That was fourth in the NFC North. They also missed the playoffs. They really got off to a slow start at 0-4, and really all season long had quarterback issues with Justin Fields. It's funny because they were really good rushing the football and have been for several seasons, but that's factoring in all the yardage that Justin Fields was giving them on the ground. Outside of that aspect of their offense, they really struggled. They were historically bad defensively for a little more than half of the season. We know that when the free agent period hit, they ended up bringing in Montez Sweat, who ended up being the catalyst for what was an impressive defensive turnaround in 2023 for the Bears. And they really hung in there even when all said and done. What's interesting about the Bears is they have honestly replaced a lot of their coaching staff, especially offensively. They've brought in Shane Waldron from Seattle as now will be their offensive coordinator. They flipped to a different defensive coordinator as well, bringing in Eric Washington, a former assistant with the Bills. And they really replaced all of their offensive coaching staff. That combined with, as we know, drafting overall number 1 pick and Heisman winner Caleb Williams. They drafted at number 9 Roma Duze to bolster their wide receiver room, which already had DJ Moore from the previous free agent year, and they also brought in Keenan Allen from LA. So they have a ton of weapons. Also brought in running back DeAndre Sweat from Philadelphia, who Lions fans are certainly familiar with. So there are a lot of moving pieces here as we enter the 2024 season, especially offensively for the Bears. And I think the question is, can those pieces all mesh together in time and in line with Caleb Williams' progression? Does he come in and light the world on fire and become a superstar immediately, or does it take more time? And I think that ultimately will work in tandem with all of these other pieces. And really, there's just so many questions left for this Bears team as they enter next season. Last but not least, the 2023 NFC champion, Detroit Lions. They finished 12-5, got to the NFC championship game. Of course, we know they fell short there, but we're very close to the organization's first Super Bowl appearance, and we've talked about that in detail. I won't blow that up here. Definitely go take a look at the other videos on the channel if you're interested. But the Lions had a great 2023 season. Their offense continued to be in elite status, third in the yardage category 2 years in a row. But their ultimate problem was defensively. Up front on the defensive line, getting help for Hutchinson, getting to the quarterback, producing sacks. And then what was highlighted towards the end of the season in the playoffs were their problems in the secondary. So as they got into the offseason, we know the Lions have maintained consistency in their coaching staff, bringing back both offensive and defensive coordinators. Really throughout the organization, the culture build has been very impressive, and it's sort of now coming to a head, hopefully leading towards great things in 2024. They've re-signed pillar players like Penei Sewell, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We know the mega contract handed to Jared Goff, the quarterback. They added free agents Carlton Davis, Amik Robertson at cornerback, coming from Tampa Bay and the Las Vegas Raiders. And we know that they also double-dipped at cornerback in the NFL draft this year with first-round pick Terrion Arnold and then their second-round pick Enos Rakestraw. So they've really done everything that they can to bolster the secondary. They also added free agents DJ Reader and Marcus Davenport to help up front. And again, all in an effort to hopefully give the help to Aiden Hutchinson to produce sacks and help their defense in 2024. But the question ultimately remains, have they done enough in the secondary? This is the second time they will have revamped their cornerback room. And it will ultimately go back to, will they have enough there and enough talent to get them to the next level? Any non-Lions fan, I think, still asks the question, is Jared Goff a Super Bowl winning quarterback? Can he take them to the promised land? And that is still up for debate here in 2024. So here's my outlook, my prediction for 2024. And I know, Lions fan, you're going to call me biased in this case, but the truth is I think it's Detroit's division to lose. One of the things you have to look at in any football division winner is who is their quarterback, who are the other quarterbacks involved in the discussion. And this is debatable, but I really believe that Jared Goff is the best quarterback in the division as we speak right now. I'm not saying that Jordan Love won't continue to get into superstar status and might supersede what Jared Goff is doing overall and over his career. We know that Caleb Williams has all the potential in the world, and we're not sure what we're going to get out of the Minnesota quarterback. But right now, I feel very confident that Jared Goff is the best out of those four. I think the Lions also have the best running back duo out of these four teams. We just got off a video talking about the best running back duos in the league, and I make the argument to you that Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are the best duo, and I think that holds true here. The Lions, I believe, also have the best offensive line in this division, and they've done everything they possibly could do to improve that secondary. Now, that's yet to be seen, but if that holds true, I don't think the Lions take any sort of step back, barring some sort of major injury, and I truly believe it's their division to lose. Now, moving past that, I think the biggest threat to the Lions in the NFC North are the Green Bay Packers. I think they proved through the second half of the season and into the playoffs that they can beat anybody. They're young, they're hungry. I think they brought in good pieces in this offseason. I think they bolstered their running back room. Can both lines offensively and defensively be enough to carry them? And really, does Jordan Love just continue this ascension? Have they done enough to improve their secondary as well? They also added several safeties and a free agent to try and keep up with the talent that you see around this division at wide receiver. Justin Jefferson, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, hopefully Jamison Williams. I mean, you got talent all over at wide receiver, so your secondaries have to keep up. As far as third in this division, the Bears, I think they have the most potential of all these teams. I think the Lions are starting to hit that potential. I think the Green Bay Packers are getting there. I think the overall potential the Bears have is truly scary. If Caleb Williams hits the ground running and becomes the superstar that a lot of folks think he can be right away, then this team, I think the sky's the limit, and they certainly could compete for a division. But I think the biggest thing is there's just too many pieces coming together at once, combined with a rookie quarterback. You still have questions defensively as far as some things up front on the defensive line. Yes, Montez Sweat helps and did help the overall view, and they were better at the tail end of 2023, but I just think there's too many pieces involved. There's too many coaches changes in this offseason to think that the lack of continuity there will just somehow mesh together and they'll end up winning this division. So I really think outside of potential, they're still, I think, a year away before they become scary in this division. Now, in the tail end, I think the Vikings, unfortunately, what's going to hurt them the most is what's happening at quarterback. We don't know what J.J. McCarthy's going to be, let's say compared to Caleb Williams. I just think there's too many question marks, and they also are dealing with the Sam Darnold thing, and how long do they give him? And I won't beat that up, but I just think in the division with guys like Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and what you think you'll get out of Caleb Williams, I think the Vikings quarterback situation falls fourth in line, and that's going to hurt them overall. Can their defense in Minnesota be enough to keep them in the discussion here within the division? Possibly. And also, they have so much talent at wide receiver. Addison, Justin Jefferson. I mean, that combo might be the best in football, and we won't debate that here, but any quarterback should, I won't say any quarterback, most quarterbacks should be able to work with that. And if JJ and or Sam can play above what we think they can give, then maybe Minnesota's in the conversation. But I really don't see that happening here in 2024. So again, if you're putting my feet to the coals and I have to make my way too early record predictions, an NFC Championship prediction here for 2024, I think I see Detroit at the top at 12-5. And again, I have gone through and given a video on the detailed week-by-week schedule for the Lions, so definitely go check that out if you're interested. But I have them finishing in a similar position this year at 12-5. I think they win this division by a couple games. I think the Packers trail them and, again, probably hold through the rest of the season, but I think they finish at about 10-7 and, again, compete for a wild card. I think Chicago then finishes third, but again, if the potential holds true, they could jump the Packers in this scenario. I don't think, even in the best case scenario, that Chicago can get to 11 or 12 wins and win a division over the Lions, but I think they could compete for second place. They could compete for a wild card if some things swing in their favor. And then I believe the Vikings, again, carry up the fourth spot. I think I'm being generous with them at about 7-10. And so that's how I see it here for the NFC North in 2024. So what do you think, guys? Where do you have these teams in 2024? Where are my Bears fans at? Those Vikings fans, the Cheeseheads, come and find me. I know you're going to give me some crap. I am a Lions fan. I'm not going to try and hide that from you guys. But the truth is the Lions are looking good. They were a half a football away in 2023, and I think they've made the necessary changes to keep themselves in that same position in 2024. But you have a lot of potential in Chicago, a lot of questions in Minnesota, and a young up-and-coming team in Green Bay, all hungry for a division. It should be a fantastic 2024 season in the NFC North. But let me know what you think. If you dug what we did here today, make sure to hit that like button. It's the best free way to help out the channel. The subscription button and the notify bell, best way to make sure you don't miss future videos here on Johnny Gas Sports. Again, I appreciate your time. I thank you so much. More than anything, I want to make sure you take care of your mental health. That is most important, and I want to see you come back on future videos. We do have a membership option available here on the channel. If you hit the join button on any of my videos, I'll walk you through all the options you have and how you can become a part of this channel. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to see you very, very soon.